Today we're diving into the incredibly moving story of Ayan and Zoya. They're just two kids whose entire world gets turned completely upside down by loss, a devastating secret, and a fight for the truth against everyone. And it all really boils down to this one simple but absolutely gut-wrenching question. It comes from 7-year-old Zoya, just moments after her father, Rahmat, tells her and her brother that he's getting remarried. Those words they hang in the air, filled with all the hope a child can have, but also this deep, deep fear of what's coming. To really get what that question means, you have to understand what their home was like. After their mother, Nasreen, passed away, the world for Ayan and Zoya just went silent. It became this quiet, empty place. The only thing Zoya has left of her is a single bangle, and she clutches it constantly, like it's her only connection back to her mom.
Now, for their father, Rahmat, the grief is it's all-consuming. The house feels impossibly empty, and all the whispers from the other villagers, the children need a mother, they start to sound less like suggestions and more like the only logical thing to do. So, feeling lonely and vulnerable, he makes a choice he thinks is for his kids, a choice that will change everything.
And just like that, Shabana enters their lives. On the surface, she seems perfect. She's beautiful, she's kind, and she just lavishes Ayan and Zoya with affection. Well, at least when their father is around to see it. She makes all the right promises about being their new mother, but behind that gentle smile, she's hiding a secret that's about to tear their family apart. But of course, that perfect picture, it doesn't last long at all. The second Rahmat leaves for work every morning, the mask slips. And for Ayan and Zoya, their own home starts to feel more like a prison. And here you see it, the classic playbook of a manipulator. When Rahmat's there, Shabana is all sweetness and light, the patient stepmother. She masterfully twists things, painting the children as difficult, as dishonest, making herself look like the victim. But when they're alone, she's a completely different person. Ayan is forced to do chores, Zoya gets yelled at for nothing, and Rahmat, totally taken in by his new wife, he believes every single lie she tells him. But Ayan, he's watching. He starts noticing things that just don't feel right. He catches Shabana, for instance, secretly digging through his late mother's old chest of belongings. And then, late one night, he overhears her on the phone whispering, "Everything is going as we planned." He has no idea what plan she's talking about, but that seed of suspicion, it's been planted. The cruelty really hits a terrifying new level when little Zoya gets sick. Burning up with a fever. Shabana just brushes it off, tells her to lie down. She absolutely refuses to call a doctor. So all night long, Ayan sits by his sister's side, totally helpless. And it's in that long, dark night that he realizes they are completely on their own. He can't be a kid anymore. He has to be her protector. And then comes the night that shatters it all. Shabana feeds Rahmat a perfectly crafted lie, and he comes home in a rage. He won't listen to a single word from Ayan or Zoya. He's just blinded by anger. And in that moment, he grabs his own children and throws them out of the house into the darkness. What follows is this heartbreaking downward spiral. This isn't just about losing their home. It's about being systematically erased from their own community. First, they find shelter in a mosque, but Shabana gets them kicked out. Then she starts spreading vicious rumors that they're thieves, until pretty soon the entire village has turned its back on them. They're complete outcasts. But right when you think it's all over, when things couldn't possibly get any worse, the story takes a turn. At their absolute lowest, starving and alone at the edge of the village, they meet someone who actually sees them, not the lies. An old shopkeeper named Zafar finds them there. He doesn't ask a bunch of questions. He doesn't judge. He just sees two hungry, scared kids and offers them some food and a place to stay. For the first time in what feels like forever, Ayan and Zoya are safe. And this one small act of kindness is what starts to pull the thread that unravels everything.
See, Zafar, he's been around. He's seen the comings and goings of the village for years, and he starts connecting the dots for Ayan. Shabana wasn't just some woman who showed up one day. She had a lover, a man named Akram. Their whole move on Rehmet, it was a cold, calculated plot to marry him and take his land and his money. It was never, ever about building a family. It was just about greed. Now that revelation is shocking enough, but it immediately brings up a much, much darker question. If Shabana was plotting all along to take over their home, what really happened to their mother, Nasreen, the one person who was standing in her way?
Zafar lays out a truly chilling theory. He explains that Shabana had made a point to befriend Nasreen before she died, putting herself in the perfect position to slowly poison her. And here's the kicker. There was a witness. An elderly woman named Hajin Kala actually saw Shabana put something in Nasreen's tea, but was too scared of Akram to say anything. For Ayan, hearing this changes everything. He's not a victim anymore. He's on a mission. So armed with this terrible, world-shattering truth, Ayan walks back to the very house he was thrown out of. He's about to confront not just the woman who destroyed his family, but also the father who chose not to believe him.
A completely shocked Rehmat calls for a village assembly. And there, in front of everyone, Hajin Kala finally finds her courage. Shaking, she stands up and delivers the words that break years of fear and silence. I saw her with my own eyes. And with that, it's over. The entire web of lies just disintegrates. Shabana can deny it all she wants, but she can't argue with an eyewitness. The whole village finally understands the cold, cruel plot that she and Akram had been running from the very start. The judgment from the village elders is swift, and it is absolute. For their conspiracy, their deceit, and their role in a mother's death, both Shabana and Akram are banished, exiled from the village, forever. But the story doesn't quite end there. For Rehmat, the truth is just an unbearable weight. He's left with this agonizing realization that his own grief made him a pawn, causing him to abandon the two people he was supposed to protect most. And that's a shame, a regret he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life. And then, in the quiet that follows all the chaos, little Zoya uncurls her fist. In her palm is her mother's bangle, catching the light. She looks up and says, "Mommy always said, truth never loses." And that bangle, which started as a symbol of loss, is now a shining symbol of the love and the truth that finally won. So, what do we take away from this? The story of Ayan and Zoya is just this incredible testament to resilience. It shows us how justice, even when it's driven by the love and memory of a child, can bring the deepest betrayals to light. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most important truths come from the quietest voices, the very ones we're most tempted to ignore.